Hello and welcome to Monday Motivation with Bukola. It's a show about inspiration, women empowerment, beauty, business, money, culture, entertainment, and advocacy. And today I bring you 13 authors from the Imprisoned Book Authors Fair at Northtown Mall, Blaine, Minnesota. It's been a 3-day affair where different authors were featured and different books. You know, we have variety of books from young authors, 11-year-old Samuel Jacobs, to, you know, adult authors, and children's books, and inspirational books, self-help books, cultural books, you know. So it was a rich event. The people in the community were really happy that we have this event going on here. So I'm really grateful to all the authors who participated in this, and also the opportunity to bring them to you on Monday Motivation with Bukola. So we had different times that we feature different authors or their books. So stay along and hear them talk about their books and the book fair. Then also I shared about resources. There were community resources that were shared during the event also. So I'm also going to be sharing this for you to see on the screen, some of those community resources that were shared during the event. Please, can you tell us about yourself and your books?
So my name is Rita Apollo. And I am the author of African Women Connects, how I started and grew a networking group of African immigrant women for friendship, business, and community. I also created a 3-year journal called a proverb a day. So each of the pages have an African proverb. So there's 366 proverbs that a person can enjoy by writing a journal. So the first book, African Women Connect, is about my experiences creating a networking group of African immigrant women here in the Twin Cities, Minnesota. And basically it was to come together, get to know each other, expand our networks, and learn how to interact and build relationships. So it was an awesome time and lots of great experiences and learnings, and so all of that was put into a book, and I'm really happy I did, and that's what I have today.
So if someone wants to create an event that will include people of different cultures,
yes,
what will be your number one tip for them?
Well, my number one will get to know the people a little bit, do a little bit of research to know who's coming, so that you can make sure you provide engagement and food and activities that makes everybody feel welcome and included.
And then at the Authors Fair today,
Yes.
when people get your book, what takeaway do you want them to get from the book?
Well, for me, the takeaway is basically relationship building is it's not fun, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it can be challenging, but it's also rewarding, and it needs to be done intentionally. So I think one thing you get from my book is that when I set out to build relationships with other people and help other people build relationships, I was very intentional about making sure that the experiences and what they learned was something that was valuable to them.
You mentioned one of your books earlier about a proverb a day and
Yes.
365 366 proverbs.
Yes.
Thanks. Do you have any of your favorite ones or favorite one among the proverbs?
I have lots of favorite ones. Of course, one that is very common and people hear often, and is if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that really speaks to this event today because I am very honored and grateful to Bukola Oriola and her group to, even though we're celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Imprisoned Book, but she opened it up for the community to be a part of it, and I'm really grateful to be part of it. So together we'll go far.
Thank you. Tell us your name and why you are here at the author's fair.
My name is Zaman, and I'm here because I wrote a book. I wrote a book about quotes, and I'm just here to, I guess, support my book and the other authors.
Oh, nice. And we understand that you are in school right now. What grade are you? And what's your favorite subject?
Okay, I'm in 11th grade, and my favorite subject is probably English. And yeah.
What is your book about?
It's about quotes that I say to my friends, and what sometimes I don't like. Sometimes I say to myself.
What kind of quotes are they?
There's inspirational quotes, there's funny quotes, and there's quotes, I guess, just to like look at and be like, okay, I got this. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell us any of the quotes in the book?
One of my favorite quotes is life is short, drink Coke, because I love Coke a lot. Like a lot. I drink Coke every single day, and yeah, and I guess that's kind of me, and that's why I put it down there.
Nice. So what would be your advice for other young kids like you who want to become authors?
If you want to write a book, write it, because I know there's some kids that are my age that want to write a book but don't know what to write about, and I think you should just get a paper and a pencil and just start writing, because then at the end of your writing, then you'll be like, okay, yeah, this can be a book, kind of thing.
Nice. What was the process of your book like?
It was at first it was hard, but then I kind of got the hang of it after, because I didn't know what to write about. I was scared if I write something too deep, and I wanted it to be for kids my age. But then when I thought about like what I say, I was like, okay, like people at my school love laughing at the things that I say, so maybe I should just write the things that I say. And then yeah.
Oh, nice. And what would you like people to take away from your book if they get them from this author's fair?
People should take that you can do it at any age, and I guess just like it's fun, I guess. I don't know, like it's just fun.
Thank you. Who are you?
Kasim Abdul-Razak, CEO of Abdul-Razak Counseling and Social Architecture.
You are here today at the Imprisoned Book Authors Fair. Can you tell us about your books?
Yep, so I brought with me today 2 books. One is a children's book called Black Child Run, and it's examining healthy psychology and social identity of Black children. And then the other one is 5 Essential Principles for Healing Black Men and Raising Black Boys, which is a book about the internal processes of being a Black man, raising Black boys, or just the ideal of being a Black boy and the struggles and challenges that we go through in our journey to manhood, and what is necessary and essential for us to go through our healing process.
Okay, you just talked about, healing process for Black boys.
Yep.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that and why that is an important thing to focus on?
Black boys, Black men, we're public enemy number 1. We are targeted and assaulted in a way that kind of allows us or forces us to show up in society with partial personhood. And so we miss out on opportunities to actually experience life in a way where we're examining or living like wholly as a human being or as a person. And so through the course of our journey through boyhood and into manhood, these partial personhood fractures become things that we have to resolve later on in life.
And then you talk about Black Child Run.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what that means for the Black child?
A Black Child Run means just that. Our world right now is in a state of dis-ease and disaster, and the Black child is actually someone who is extremely important to reconciling and bringing justice into the world, because it's part of the experience, the historic experience of Black children, which is to stamp out injustice and to run towards justice, freedom, liberty, and equality.
Thanks. What is one takeaway you want people to get from your books when they get it from the author's fair?
Something that's extremely important is healthy psychology and healthy social identity. And so the books that I write are books to develop just those things, healthy psychology and healthy sense of identity.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Tell us about yourself, please.
Thanks, Bukola, for having us today. So my name is Bukola Braiding, and I'm the author for my sewing world, Sewing My Way Out of Depression. And I'm an accountant with a university here in Minnesota, and I also sew. And one of the reasons why I decided to start sewing is in my book, My Sewing World. So if you get the book, it will show you everything about me and the reason why I decided to start sewing.
Thanks. So, the book My Sewing World, what is the one takeaway you want for people who get the book?
If you buy the book, you will realize that life comes to us in many ways. So don't let life push you in different directions. Once you're able to get yourself together, then you can move forward. And whatever you have, whatever talent you have, use it to get through life in how much way you want to get through it. I use my sewing in getting through my depression during the time that I was having this. So in other words, whatever you can do, you can use it in getting yourself out of a situation you had, a particular thing. Don't ever underestimate your ability. You can be who you want to be, you can be who you wish to be, and you can do a lot once your mind is set on it.
Okay, as an author, what would be your suggestion or advice for those who want to do their own books?
Trust your instinct. Trust yourself. You can do it if you put your mind in it. It took me forever. I never knew I could be an author. But Bukola, whenever she comes to my place, she just keep pushing me and telling me, hey, you can do it. I was like, oh, really? Will I be able to do it? But, she pushed me and I was able to do it. And today I'm an author. No matter how many pages you're able to put there, once you put your mind in it, once you're able to get yourself together and try to do it, you can do it. So don't ever underestimate yourself. Even when she was asking me, I was like, who is going to buy my book? I've sold several of my books today, and I'm so proud and I'm so grateful that she was able to push me to do this. And now I have another book that I'm writing, amazingly. See, she started it for me. So I'm grateful for her pushing me this forward to be able to be an author.
Would you say that it's a helpful thing to have someone to give you the push to be able to achieve your goals?
Well, I would say yes. In life, there's you need a help. You need help. Whenever you think you are lacking behind, seek for help. No matter who the person is, your help might be the most youngest person around you. It might be the most oldest person around you. So reach out and seek help. You need a push in everything you do, and always be open to encourage someone to push you.
Hello, sir, and welcome. Tell us about yourself, please.
Oh, thank you very much. My name is Joseph Bele. I'm from Tanzania, and I teach at St. Olaf College in the English department. I teach literature from around the world, folklore from around the world, and also the writing course.
So you are here at the book fair. What brings you here today? We know you're an author, but can you tell us about your books and why you decided to come to the author fair?
Oh, okay. I consider this book event as part of my outreach work, and it's a good way to meet people. It's a good way to connect with the larger community outside the college, and I learn a lot from people who come and look at my books. They ask questions, and it works, very well in that way.
Okay, so for those who come today and get your book, or those who have gotten your books over the past 2 days, what takeaway do you have for them in the book?
Say that again.
What do you want them to learn from your book?
Okay. I think the most important thing is for them to hear the African voice. I do research in folklore, and I interpret folklore, African folklore, and it gives people a good sense of what the Africans have thought about in terms of philosophizing about life, relationships, values. So it's a very good way of projecting the African voice and the African contribution to world culture. And then the other book that I wrote helps people to understand the cultural differences. And that's a very big problem these days with all, the globalization that's going on. And so we do need to understand the different ways of our lives, and how we can leverage those differences, or how we can incorporate them in our interactions without friction.
You just mentioned an important thing about culture and differences. Sometimes it feels like culture is referred to as just like English as a second language. Do you have any thoughts in regards to that?
Culture is a very difficult term to define, and people define it in different ways. They understand it in different ways. I don't even define culture in my book. I just talk about, the ways we think, the way we act, our perspective on things, relationships, the way we talk, our beliefs. I don't actually define culture the way other people do, and some people focus on material things, like traditional foods, traditional clothing, dances, various rituals, but I don't really look at these things as such unless they throw light onto deeper values. There are values that determine the way we behave, and that's for me the central part of culture.
Thank you so much, sir. Please tell us about yourself.
Well, my name is Linda Garrett Johnson, and I live locally here in Apple Valley, Minnesota. And this is the first and only book that I've published called Seeing in the Spirit, Understanding the Battle. And that book for me is a clarion call for the church and for people of faith to understand that we have a common enemy that's trying to bring division among us. And what's happening is creating casualties of war. Those are people who have left the church, who are no longer attending, and the walking wounded. The people who are still in church, but are not involved anymore. And so that's what this book is about, is helping us to understand how to combat about that and how to stay unified as the church, the body of Christ, people of faith.
You say that the church has a common enemy. What do you mean by that?
It's a spiritual enemy. When I say a common enemy, it's a spiritual enemy that is trying to get us to see one another as enemies from within, creating what I call friendly fire situations where we're fighting amongst ourselves versus coming together in unity and love, looking at how can we work together with one another to advance the spiritual plans that God has for us.
In your own opinion, what are the ways that we can work together in the church?
The ways that we can work together is first to remember that what our original mission is, which is to seek and save spiritual souls. We are there as a church to be there for as the legs and feet for God. And that's what I mean by that. And so making sure that we are remembering what our common mission is, what our common focus is, and not getting involved in sideline skirmishes sideline skirmishes to me are things that really are not that important. The things that are important are how are we going to come together in unity? How are we going to work together with one another amongst other Christians? And so those are the things that I want to remind us to stay focused on.
The book fair today that you are at, what will be one thing or some things you want people who want to get your book take away with them?
I'm hoping that the people who purchase the book today will feel like they see themselves in the book somehow, especially people who may be wandering around. They're feeling like, I used to go to church and I stepped away, I don't go anymore. I want those people to understand what that was about, that we had an enemy, a spiritual enemy that tried to get them out of the church. I want the people who are there in church right now but that are feeling unhappy, maybe they're not bringing their supply, they're not involved, they're not volunteering. I want them to also be able to see themselves in the book and to understand that common enemy is trying to distract them and not have them be involved in the church. So when people pick up there may be people in their family, friends or neighbors that when people pick up the book and they look at it, they say, I know somebody who could benefit from reading this book. So that's what I'm hoping will happen as a result of being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What was that? It was 3 days working hard, talking to authors and community members, and really I learned a lot in these 3 days that I was here at the mall, at Northtown Mall. It's been fun, it's been a learning experience, and of course we're going to come back again. I just don't know the date, but I will share the date when the date is available. Thank you so much. I hope the various authors and their journey has inspired you, and I hope that you've been inspired by the books. Please go check out their books. Their books are on Amazon. You can check them out on social media. You can check them out on their various websites and go get your own copy of their books. Thank you so much again. Until next time, God bless you and bye-bye.